right this very minute.
What
are you doing? You're doing this.
I don't know.
I looked over and you look scared.
Deer in the headlights.
What's going on?
Nothing. How come we still don't know how to start this show ever?
How dare you? I know how to start the show every week. I just made a mistake.
5 million years
I made
later.
a small mistake and I forgot to upload our little cover, our little thumbnail. So we just went straight to it. I said, dang it, we're doing it live. We're doing it live! We're doing it live!
Oh, okay. Hi.
Hey everybody, what's happening? It's Sunday. What is up? We'll see if the dogs can manage to not start barking. Ripley's been a bit of a terror this last week and barking at all times of day, on high alert that we might be murdered at any moment. But good to see everybody. Welcome.
She's lucky she's cute because damn, that dog, the annoyance level of a dachshund that just barks incessantly is brutal. Something sets her off. I don't know. It could be a leaf landing in the yard outside, and she will be off for like the whole day, every 20 minutes.
Well, she's fairly positive that we're all about to die. So
at any given moment.
She has to let us know.
And then her barking sets the other two off. Yeah. Even if they don't know why she's barking, they're like, oh shit, we're barking now. Well, that's what we're doing.
Grizz is pretty much deaf, so she's just like, I guess we are in horrible danger, and I'm going to join in. Hello everybody, what is going on?
Happy Sunday.
I see blue skies outside. It's getting a lot cooler here though, and it looks like our next couple of weeks are going to have like maybe a little bit of rain even. Yeah. Which we've gone like over 100 days without any kind of significant rainfall, so...
I'm fine with having rain. I hope we don't have any rain for the next couple of weeks because we have visitors back to back coming. So we have two friends coming in tonight, late night. Tracy knows our two friends that are coming. They're friends that I've been friends with since, Shelly I've been friends with since kindergarten, and Scott, her husband, I've been friends with since 8th grade. So
they're pretty cool. I love
They're
them.
fun. They're two people that I always spend time with every time I go home to visit, and they haven't been here to visit in... Actually, it was 8 years this month that came up.
I know. They haven't visited since I've lived here, and I've been here for 7 years now. So I'm very excited, though. They're some of my favorite people. So, but with that in mind, we still have guests who are coming for a week. And then after that, we've got the Roots coming for another week.
We have, I think, a 5-day break.
We're in Q4, and we've got... 2 week-long distractions that will be happening. Welcome distractions, but it's still, as you guys know, as resellers, as being self-employed, when you have stuff like this going on, it can stress you out a little bit. I know.
Well, I mean, we live in one of the destination capitals of the country. Let's be real. We know that. And I love that we live here because people always come to visit. And you get your best quality time when people come and stay with you and visit and get to do fun things. And it makes us do the fun things, the touristy things that we don't do normally. So I very much enjoy it. But of course, it's their vacation, not our vacation. So we have to work a little bit too. So we try to do, I don't know. We try to work until like noon every day at least. And
we have to ship. It's just, we'll only be able to do like the bare minimum, like get our shipping done, hopefully get a handful of listings up. But it's like, I'm like right in the middle right now where I'm back in that position where I've got a bazillion pieces of inventory that I really need to put away, but it's almost impossible to do that because every time I build up any kind of bank, it's for visitors or because I'm going somewhere or whatever. And it's like, so I don't know when that's going to happen, but it also makes it harder to pull my stuff. So it's a conundrum, guys. But it's got to happen at some point. I don't know.
It does.
But now this week, because our friends, they're not resellers, so we're not going to be doing anything reselling related. When the Roots come, we'll definitely be doing lots of thrifting.
We do shop. We shop and
they love the bins
almost
here
every day.
So we'll probably go to the bins a bunch of times. So even if we aren't getting as much like work done at home, we can at least be... hopefully building up some new inventory.
Exactly.
But yeah, so we've got, today's our last day to get hopefully a little bit of work done before it all goes crazy. What's that face?
I'm thinking of the likelihood of that happening in the next, after the 3 hours after the show.
Well, I'm definitely going to be getting some work done. You'll probably be like more worried about getting stuff done around the house, but...
I haven't listed anything yet today, but I took some photos earlier. I'll try to get a couple of those things listed when the show finishes. And then we've got to go to Dana's and help her ship tonight. And then Yeah, finished doing a little bit of picking up around the house type of thing. Yeah, see, Jill, I put my stuff away yesterday, and I probably do it every 3 weeks or so, which means that I'm putting away 300 plus items every 3 weeks. I pile it all in the dining room that we don't use.
I'm behind.
But
I've got
it's a pain.
hundreds of pieces that need to go away. Luckily, I relatively know what's in each stack. It's just, it gets to a point where it's at the tipping point, and then once I'm past that, it's really annoying, and that's right where I'm at right now. Lori, we only have one Goodwill bins here, and it's amazing. We love it. We do have an outlet for Salvation Army that opened this last year, and
which will definitely take Ryan and Allie.
Oh yeah, it's smaller. I don't think it's as good, but there's still possibility to find good stuff there as well. So that's like kind of on the other side of town. It's not as convenient a location for us. But
and as Elaine says, we did have 2 pre-pandemic.
They were terrible though.
They were terrible because they were not direct donation bins.
And they didn't, like, when we went, they didn't really, I think the 1 or 2 times I went, there was like barely any rotating of the bins. Mm-hmm. It was just, and so then they had gone through bankruptcy in 2019, I believe. And then the pandemic happened, and then they relocated at some point and put it all in one place, and it's a completely different deal now.
Yeah, because Goodwills they're regionally owned and managed usually. So
yeah.
Anyway,
indeed.
Check it out.
Anyway, so we've got a lot of stuff coming up over these next couple of weeks. Plus, I got to get the website set up for the remix so we can start announcing speakers here this next week. Early November, we'll start announcing speakers on the Instagram page. So you want to make sure you're following us on Instagram so you can see all the speakers that are going to be coming to the remix in March.
They're all locked in.
We've got some great ones, guys. The content is going to be, I think this is going to be our best year yet. We've got some really, really amazing topics that get really deep into things that I think are going to interest all of us resellers. But yes, very busy. Jen, what's happening over in Wisconsin? Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into our show. We break this up into 3 parts. The first part, we look at our real numbers for the last week, our gross numbers across all of our platforms, and then we break down some of the costs, like the fees, the shipping, and most importantly, the cost of goods. And in the middle part of our show, we look at our sales highlights for the last week, interesting things we sold, maybe educational, maybe the more exciting stuff, hopefully. And then the last part of our show, we talk about, what our goals were that we set last week, if we were able to accomplish them, if we failed miserably. And we talk about some of our goals that we have moving forward, or as this week, it's called our Halloween Ghouls. Halloween.
Okay.
Ghouls. How dare you? How dare you?
Just, no.
You don't like Halloween Ghouls? Ghouls? Ghouls?
Just stop.
Anyway, guys, all right, let's go ahead and jump in and look at our numbers. I think the people that are watching, they appreciate that. Lori appreciates it. Alexis appreciates it.
They're humoring you. They're rolling their eyes behind their computers. You
Never.
just can't see
They
it.
would never. All right, let's go ahead and share the screen here. We can look at my numbers first. It's okay. It's like I'm getting somewhat steady sales. I don't feel like there's been no like kicking in of the fourth quarter, in my opinion, at least as far as my numbers go.
Not mine
I've
either.
just been kind of holding steady, which great, but can I just have like a couple weeks where I knock it out of the park, beyond just holding steady. So you can see eBay orders 31, Etsy orders 6, Poshmark orders 4, and then 9 orders between Grail, Mercari, and Depop for 50 total outgoing orders. My eBay gross sales, again, it's almost identical to last week's, $1,471.12. Etsy $346.34. Poshmark $192. I have definitely been getting more sales now that they've kind of switched things back again. I think it's gone into effect in the last couple of days, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. At least according to what they're charging me for the stuff I'm selling. $438 for Grail, Mercari, and Depop combined. Mercari's been just kind of like banging them out. Like I think I have currently like 6 in process. Not like huge sales, but it's been really steady. Total gross sales, $2,447.46. I just want to hit 3,000. Let me hit 3,000. Come on. Yeah, you're right, Alexis. The Posh Twat is back. And my shipping, $209.01. You can see the breakdown of the other fees there. Cost of goods, roughly $135. So my total net sales, $1,884 and a penny. Gross average sale price, $48.95. My lower goal is, I have it set at about $40 now, so $48.95. I'm happy with that. Net average sale price, $37.68. So
before we switch to mine, I just want to say we've got Danielle in the chat, Dynasty Sinners there. And Di just went and got herself married the other day.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to say congratulations in the chat, we love Dynasty, and
We've been waiting for her to become an honest woman.
Her and as she calls him, Glam Babe Adrian got married in a quiet ceremony the other day, and we get to celebrate and have a big party for her in February, I think she said.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for her, and yay to being married.
Yay, congrats. All right. Everybody's giving the congratulations. Dooba-dooba-doo. Very cool. All right, let's go ahead and look at your numbers. You cheated again this week.
I did cheat again this week. I will say I do have another consignment sale in here. So, and I will break it down for you and let you know what that is when we get to it. But my sales are pretty weak this week. If you take out my large consignment sale, it was a week. Mm-hmm. So 22 eBay orders, 10 on Etsy, 8 on Poshmark, 1 on Mercari for a total of 41 orders outgoing, 31.35 on eBay. Of that 31.35, 980 of it is going out to consignment. So so 568 on Etsy, 348 on Posh. One lonely Mercari sale for $37.
That's a pretty good week on Posh.
It was a pretty good week on Posh. It wasn't terrible. It's not. I mean, again, it's not great. I used to be doing 2,000 to 3,000 on Posh a year, a month, and that died a year ago. So, just under $4,100 total gross for the week. So shipping, $297, and then you see the breakdown of all the fees. My cost of goods, relatively low as usual, for $125.
Now I gotta fix the Poshmark fees again, dang nabbit. Jeez.
My net sales, $32.30.06, and as I said, so that's what was going in my pocket. Out of that $3,200, I'm going to take out $980 of that is going to my consignee. So really, I did $2,300 for the week or so in my pocket, which is not fantastic. But yeah, I'll show you because I'm going to show you the sold item.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and you made a sale. How exciting for you! Hold on a second.
I sold some Spanx.
Hold on a second here. Let me switch this over real quick. I'm going to go ahead and shut your Outlook so we're not getting all of your email notifications.
All right. Whatever.
I'm just saying. All right. Go ahead and share the screen again, and we will show Victoria's sale first. And what you got here? I was super jealous when you got this shirt. I don't remember where you got it.
I got it at the bins.
Yeah, I was very jealous.
And I don't find, this kind of cool stuff at the bins very often. And usually Katie will beat me to get it. So the fact that I found it and didn't have to give it up to her is pretty good. But I knew it was a good one. Now, it did take a while to sell. I probably had it listed for about a year. And I took an offer for $75 on it this week. And I was perfectly happy to sell it for $75 because selling any t-shirt for $75 these days is good.
I'm impressed you sold it for $75 with 3 pictures.
Why would I need more?
Well, usually if you're selling a vintage t-shirt for $100, you want to show them like what the tag looks like. I mean, I know you didn't take these pictures.
I didn't.
You would show like the single stitch. I don't know, just a little detail. That's
this
all.
was post Crystal, pre-Gen as far as Lister. So it's not. It was when I was in the middle there with a couple of not so great listers. So yeah. And Katie did beat me. Technically, I beat you with net sales, but you beat me with gross sales.
Oh, yeah.
If you take out my consignment sale.
Okay. I'll take that. All right. Anything else on this one?
Nope.
I love this shirt though, and when every once in a while I'd see it in your inventory, and I get jealous all over again. Like I still,
You really hold on to shit, don't you?
well, because it's such a cool shirt. Look at it. It's so cool. I love it.
It's a surfing shark.
I love it. Anyway, all right. Now, guys, and I know Vicky's real jealous of this sale. I wanted to show this. This is another example of, so this is just a current Scream t-shirt. I found it at the bins. It was stained or bleached on the bottom, but not in a cool way. And so I went ahead and just chopped the bottom right off of it, turned it into a crop top. And I've only had it listed for maybe a few weeks, and I sold it for the price you see there, $23.99. So I paid like $1 for it. Sold it for $23.99 plus $5.95 shipping. Now this is a t-shirt I probably could have found new at Ross or Marshalls or whatever for $6. And somebody could probably make some money if they wanted to like go and buy like just a bunch of current stuff and just chop them all off into crop tops and actually like sell them for higher prices like this. So I'm telling you, the crop tops, the style right now for Y2K with the girls is like the tiny tank tops,
right?
The crop
but
tops.
Here's my question:
What?
Did you list you put in the title men's? You listed that in men's, and
Yeah, because it's a men's t-shirt.
But no man is wearing a.
It doesn't matter.
Like
First of all, you don't know. Second of all, it's because it's going by men's sizes and it is a men's t-shirt. I don't care. I do what I do and I do what I want. How dare you?
All right, I just don't know
I
how you're
sold it.
marketing it to a woman as a crop top if it's in the men's category.
Because if you look it up, crop top or whatever, it's going to come. Somebody looked up a Scream t-shirt, and you know what? Some men like crop tops.
All right.
All right? They're
Sure.
going to the gym wearing their Scream
All right.
crop top for Halloween.
All right, sure,
I do what I want,
whatever.
and it works. So you're just jelly. Anyway, it's a cool shirt. Shut your mouth.
Okay.
What's this?
This is a dress that I picked up at the bins. It's very lightweight. It probably paid $1 or maybe even less than $1 for it. It's very, very lightweight taffeta. Little girl's pageant dress. There's no tags in it, so it's not like Martha's Miniatures or one of the really good ones, but there were no tags. So it sold within 24 hours, though. I knew it was vintage. I can tell it's vintage and that it's, the construction. Looked at some. There were no tags at all in it. But it was a really cute pageant style dress. And again, if you get the really frilly ones, they sell really well. And it's going to sell probably to Oregon. Somewhere in Oregon is a drop shipper that sells a lot of these types of dresses to China. They go to China. They're very popular in China. And this went to, this went to Oregon. I'm assuming it's going to a
You started that out about you going to Oregon, and I was like, wait, is there some, because I'm from Oregon, is there some sort of like pageant thing in Oregon? And then you finished it. I understood what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good, but it sold within 24 hours. It's not, like I said, it's not like the Martha's Miniatures one that I sold for $375 like 6 weeks ago. That is a different type of brand. But if you find the really nice, vintage, very girly, frilly pageant type dresses, always get them. Always get them.
We're being harassed by Liz. Harassed. What's up, Liz? What's happening?
Jay, I wonder where you been, girl. Flipping Jaybird in the chat.
Oh. Hello, Jay. Okay, Liz, tell us, how many listings have you done today? Slacker. I've done one.
I've done none.
Victoria's done... I did clean a toilet, though.
Oh, well, hey, there's that.
Yeah. Actually, I cleaned one toilet yesterday. I cleaned another toilet today. All right. Next up for me. So I wanted to show this shirt because, again, going back to the whole Ross thing, we had gone, I think last week I showed the really cool Frankenstein Levi's jacket that I sold for like $150. We had gone to Burlington and, they have a bunch of cheap crap there. And this is one of the brands that they carry that's like I might have shown the other one that I sold. This is one of the brands that they carry that's kind of like a Versace knockoff.
Versace, yeah.
And
it's
Versace. But I had gotten like a bunch of these in actually the clearance section, and they were like $4 or $5 a piece, and I got 4 of them, like 3 slightly different designs, but all similar to this. And I've had them listed now for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and 2 of them have sold now. So this one sold for $30. So again, there's stuff to find. Like even it's not necessarily all about going to the thrift store or all about scoring big and buying something and flipping it for $100 more. Like stuff like this, if you know what to look for.
Why isn't it just for flipping things for hundreds? I mean, come on now, it's a good model.
It is a good model. It's a great model. I would love to pick up everything and flip it for $100.
I aspire to hit that model.
I would also like to do that. But if we're talking about diversifying, like your sourcing and finding stuff that can sell, I mean, the fact that I've sold 2 of these now in the last 2 weeks for $30 a piece plus $5.95 shipping, when I paid less than $5 for them, is pretty good. They have like polo shirts and different things too with this brand, but it seems from what I could see, like looking up this brand. It's more about like if it has like these designs on it. It's just the t-shirts. They're black ones that sell pretty well, and it's these like gold and copper colors. Whatever. I think they're hideous, but I made some money, so there.
All right.
It's always worth like looking up and checking things out wherever you go. We weren't even there to source. You were just buying some stuff for yourself.
All right. Well, I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory, but this was a bins find. This is not a vintage Carhart. This is not one of the more desirable Carharts. This is just, it was a nice heavy weight. You could tell it was a the type of jacket you'd wear if you had to be outside where you needed to be warm and dry. So I picked it up at the bins. I probably paid $6 or $7 based on weight. I think it was a little over 3 pounds. And I had it listed not that long. This has been listed maybe a month or two. And it sold for the price you see there. It was on sale, and it sold for $104 plus shipping. And it's nothing spectacular, but it was in great condition. It looked as if maybe somebody had worn it once or twice, if at all.
Yeah.
And it's not vintage. It's just, not all Carhartt is worth selling, but most of it is.
Yeah. What I like about Carhartt is that they all have their the number on them to identify them, like this J. You have it in your title, J162.
Well, a lot of people look things up that way.
Yeah,
especially if they're replacing or buying the same thing they already own, or they want multiples. But
as sellers, it's really easy to look up, and then they're also really easy to date when they are vintage, and so it just makes it a lot easier to comp and to figure out what you have and if it's worth anything. Because there's some Carhartt jackets that are worth $1 bazillion.
Right, and even maybe not a bazillion. That's a bit of an exaggeration.
Maybe not a bazillion, but some of the vintage workwear jackets sell for hundreds, and not just like a couple hundred, like 500, 600, just depending on what they are. But even like the newer stuff, a lot of times if it's broken in and worn in, and sometimes it can sell for as much, if not more, than the new ones without even being vintage. So definitely don't pass up the Carhartt. All right. This is a vintage Field & Stream flannel shirt. I sold it for $41.99. I paid $0 when I went back to Oregon. My sister had a whole big pile of stuff for me to go through and swipe. Her mother-in-law's husband had passed away this last year, and she had given them like a whole bunch of his clothes. And so she was just like, hey, take whatever you want. The rest is going to go to Goodwill or whatever. And so there was a bunch of being, I guess, an older dude in Oregon, you got to have all your flannels. There were some Carhartt things in there. You need some
Pendleton.
I got a
Field & Stream.
There were a couple of Pendletons, although my nephew Isaac did swoop in and steal one of the Pendletons. I tried to fight him off, but it didn't work.
He's young.
I know. So I got a Pendleton, and I got a bunch of other flannels, and like a couple of Carhartt jackets and a Carhartt vest. So I scored pretty good. But this is the first thing that sold. I've listed it all within this last week. This is the first thing that sold, and I sold it for the price you see there, the $41.99 plus shipping. And yeah, not bad for paying $0. But flannel's in, and I got my flannel. I got my grunge in the title. I mean, come on, do what you got to do. Get that moving.
I grabbed this. This was a very fast sale as well. I grabbed this at the church sale that we went to last weekend. I grabbed 2 of these. I think I've talked about this before. LL Bean boat and tote bags, they still make them. But for whatever reason, there are certain ones, certain colorways, and certain tags that sell very, very, very well. There are some that sell upwards of $300, $400, $500, $600. If you look up LL Bean boat and tote just like you see right there in the title. Sort by high to low, and then look for solds. You'll get an idea of which ones you want to grab. But this one I paid $4 for.
You know, that this could have gone to somebody in need, but you swooped in to resell it.
Yeah, I'm going to hell, according to that church lady. So anyway, I paid $4 for it. I had it listed for not very long, maybe a day or two. I listed 2 of them, and then this one sold pretty quickly. $129.95.
I don't know what's happening with that accent right now.
I don't know.
So Liz is showing off. She's listed 5 things today. She thinks she's cooler than us.
Well, she might be.
She's freaking rude. But yeah, that's pretty good. $130 at 4. I haven't listed any. Well, that's not true. I have listed 1 Harley t-shirt so far from our haul. I just did all my pictures. And so the first things I'm going to be listing is all the Harley and motorcycle stuff. Which, by the way, guys, I found out later because I don't remember if we had said anything about running into Jesse's parents from yesterday's fits, and they were picking up stuff for him. There was some Harley stuff that was in another section that I had seen later, but there wasn't really anything left. They scored like 2 or 3, 4 different 3D emblem t-shirts. Harley Davidson, man, I would have died. But whatever. They went to Jesse, so I guess it was for a good cause. All right, next up, this is one I believe I picked this up in Oregon. This is just it's a polo shirt, and it's for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is a PlayStation 4 game that came out in 2020. And, you know, I'm usually going to pick up anything that's like kind of video game related, even whether it's vintage or not.
I mean, I've heard of Final Fantasy, but we're on 4 now? 7? Final Fantasy 7?
Well, this is Final Fantasy VII Remake. We're beyond. Right. I don't know if anybody here plays video games or can tell us what Final Fantasy we are actually on, but this is Remake. Anyway, so then I brought it home, you know, went to go list it and looked it up and everything. And I was highly disappointed to realize there were a lot of them out there and a lot of them were listed for much cheaper. And I was like, not that I thought I was going to sell for $1 billion, but there were a lot of them listed for.
You like bazillion a lot today.
Bazillion's a very good number, and it's a real number, so you be quiet. And there were a lot of them out there and priced pretty cheaply, like $20. And I was like, oh man. But then I was like, you know what? I don't care because I'm going to be listing it on these other platforms as well. And I could end up selling it on Poshmark or Mercari or who knows, whatever. So I went ahead and listed it, and it sold in like 2 days for $41.99 plus shipping. And I was like, what? Okay, thanks for your money.
That was a very long story.
It was a great story.
Just ask you.
Just ask me. Just ask me and like 2 people in the chat. It was fantastic. They love it. It was so rude. Anyway, that's my story.
Cool story, bro.
A-hole. Go ahead.
All right, this is the last of, I don't have too many quilts listed right now, but this one I've had listed for quite a bit, and I've had offers all over the place on this thing, up and down and sideways on these offers. It finally sold. I got an offer for this for $125. It was on sale for $143. I have sent offers as low as $75 on it. I am happy to get rid of it, and offering $125 on $143 was very reasonable offer, I felt like. So that's what it sold for. This one, I believe I picked this one up in Colorado last year when I got a ton of quilts, because I've definitely had this listed for a minute. So I got a ton of quilts in Colorado, and their by the pound for linens was much cheaper there. So I think I probably paid about $5 for this at most. And it finally sold for the $125 plus shipping.
I'm just glad I have Laura here, who is a good friend and is always willing to build me up and not tear me down. And she would pay $1 billion to hear my story again.
Well, to be fair, she doesn't watch a lot of TV, so she's pretty bored. I think.
No.
So
she just loves me.
That's all. Maybe that too.
Yeah, it's true. All right. Yeah, Liz says you probably paid less because you're paying 49 cents a pound.
Yep, exactly. Our bins just went up to $2.09 a pound this week. We were at $1.89, I believe.
Yeah.
It was $1.69 a year and a half ago. Went up to $1.89, and it just went up to $2.09. Now it's still reasonable. But that's a pretty high jump in a couple of
It
years.
is. It is. We got to go back to Dallas, I guess. And Colorado. All right. Next up for me. Now, this one, I believe, Jen Goodale's in the chat. I believe I got this from her. I got some Hawaiian shirts, and this is a vintage rain spooner Hawaiian shirt. Now, some rain spooners can sell for a lot. I think the ones that really sell for a lot are like the Christmas ones.
Yep, the Christmas ones.
Maybe are there Disney ones too?
There's Disney and there's Disney Christmas.
Disney Christmas, which is like
the
trifecta. You got rain spooner, Disney, and Christmas.
And if it's a reverse print and vintage,
yeah,
it's like a holy grail rain spooner.
So this, I did not sell it for this much. Once I've had stuff listed for a little bit, I go ahead and send out some aggressive offers, and I sent out an offer for $45. So I sold it for $45 plus shipping. But as you know, when I've talked about doing my bulk buys from Jen, I pay $5 an item plus shipping. So $5 into 45 is pretty good.
It probably works out to be that you're paying like $6 an item when you account for all the shipping.
Yeah, well, it depends, because sometimes she's super cool. Well, she's always super cool, but sometimes she's a little bit extra cool, and she throws in extra pieces. And so when you really math it out, it's closer to 5 than 6. So it just depends. It just depends on how extra super cool Jen's being. But yeah, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. All right. Next up for you.
This is not super exciting of a piece, but I picked this up 2 weeks ago when Katy was in Portland. I went to another seller in town who sometimes is in the chat. Susan, I don't know if you're in the chat or not. She hates selling clothes. So I will occasionally buy from other sellers in town. And I purchased a bunch of fur coats from her and a Burberry trench coat that has seen better days, unfortunately, because it's fantastic. It just has a lot of issues. And this was one of them. And actually, I would probably not have picked this up, except it came with everything else that I purchased from her.
Mm-hmm. And it's the first thing you sold?
It is the first thing I sold. I've listed the majority of everything but I didn't sell it for that price. I sold it for $95. I did take an offer for $95, and I was perfectly happy to get rid of it for $95. I didn't think I was going to sell it for that much. Now, to be fair, the fur coats that I bought were these beautiful mink coats, a lot of black diamond mink coats, and I paid on average about $40 an item for all of these items that I purchased. So I did not get them cheaply, and they're going to sit for a while. So it was still 40 into 95, and at least it sold fast. It started to recoup some of my money that I paid for the items.
I just need to go back. I just saw that Laura said it was a negative sign in front of the bazillion. So whatever. I'm going to make sure I do a voice recording of me telling that story all over again, and I'm going to send it to you 5 times, Laura. And because you are nice, you'll probably listen to me do it, just because you'll feel bad that I went through the trouble of recording it for you. A-hole. All right. Next up, speaking of Disney Hawaiian shirts, this, I think I actually got this at Savers, and I feel like it was on the go back rack or something like that, or maybe it was out in the rack.
When was the last time we went to Savers?
We went. I mean, it wasn't like that crazy long ago. But it was probably like a good 6 months ago at least. But it was like a random time we went.
We don't go to Savers ever anymore.
I know we don't, but I feel like it was like a Savers or something. And I remember it was one of those things where I got it and then you were mad that I found it because like you hadn't found anything or something. But that could happen at any time because it is kind of like.
That's probably
it's happened more than once.
It looks like a nightgown. It's so big.
I know, it's real big. It's 3XL from 2019. And this is from the Disney Cruise line. So it's like it's got a really cool all over print going on
and
here.
And a little private island, Castaway Cay.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I've had it for quite a while. And I've sent out many, many offers. I think I've gone as low as like $40, $45 just trying to sell it. And then it was one of those things where I got an offer for $71. And I was like, hells yeah. And not only did I get $71 offer, but it was a $71 offer that was going to pay immediately and was not from a promoted listing.
Wow.
So it was high excitement.
Double cha-ching.
High excitement. Very, very happy to have sold this finally. So, All right, next up.
All right. So this was my other consignment item that I sold this week. Again, I'm selling a few high-end consignment items for a friend of mine, and this is one of them. This was a brand new Louis Vuitton bag that she had. It's so not her style, but she had purchased, full retail, never used. So of course it went to the authenticity program, and then it's going to go on to the buyer. But I did sell it for $1,500, which was our agreed upon price. I always put things a little higher, but I sold it for $1,500. Now I had it listed for a week and a half, maybe, and it took me taking photos, shipping it in, and I made $325 on that. And I chose to be giving her a much lower consignment percentage, or taking a much lower consignment percentage. She's insists that I took something. And I don't do this for most people, but she is a friend that has helped us out. In fact, she owns the bar that we have our Remix meet and greet at.
Right. She's done stuff for us, so it's like...
And she gives us a very good price on that bar for the whole night and her employees, so...
And it's one of those things where it's like, she's done so much for us, and we're always like, what could we possibly do to like... because you don't ever want to feel like you're taking advantage of people and their generosity. But she's one of those people where you're like, I don't even know what I could do for her to make up, to feel like it's not a one-sided relationship. And so when she asked you to do consignment stuff, you were like, of course. Yeah. It was like an opportunity.
I was going to do it for free, and then she insisted. She was like, I'm not giving it to you unless you take a percentage.
Yeah, exactly.
So, taking a percentage. Now, the thing is that, to be fair, everything she has given me is fantastic, so I'm not going to complain. It's very easy to list and good things that are going to sell for high dollar amounts, so it definitely makes it worth it. I started out doing consignment, when I started selling, and when I first became a full-time seller, and I fudged my way through it for the first couple of years because I had no idea. I just created a consignment business, and I did probably 75% consignment, and I've given that up. I haven't done much of that in the last 8 or 10 years, actually. I only do a handful here and there for people or for friends. Yeah. So...
and high dollar items, because
and high
it's
dollar.
Just not...
It's not worth it unless it's high dollar, or if it's your only method of business, and then you don't ever have to spend money on inventory. Good for you. Yeah. But because there's no shortage of inventory, Anyway, good thing is that this is just the start. She has a lot more to give me, and she's going to refer people to me. So I will be very selective of the items that I take, and I don't mind adding consignment to my repertoire now if they're going to be good items.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. Okay. Next up for me, this might be my biggest sale of this last week. And it's funny because it's a lifted research group. So LRG is kind of one of those brands that's right up there with like maybe Echo Unlimited.
And academics.
Like it's not quite to the level of South Pole at all.
It was.
Maybe at like one point.
So where South Pole is bigger now as having a resurgence, LRG was big 10 years ago. You could get it. So it hasn't quite come back.
But I don't know that it's ever going to have like any kind of significant resurgence. The thing about this particular piece is what it is. Like it just, so I got this at the bins. It's a bigger, heavier sweatshirt. So I've maybe paid like $4, $5. But the reason I got it is because it's got an awesome graphic on it. And this whole style of, it's West Coast art or Northwest Coast art. It's a very like kind of Native American, Haida, First Nations kind of style. You'll see on like totem poles or, things like that Northwest art style. It's some people, it's very desirable, and I always do really well with these. And it's just a really cool, this orange color with this huge graphic on the back. So I went ahead and priced it really high. Now I've had it listed for maybe like a month or so, couple months. And I have sent out offers. I think I've gone as low as like $65 on eBay or whatever. But I ended up selling it for my full sale price on Etsy, which was $134.99, and I was kind of surprised myself a little bit. I'm like, yeah, let's bring some LRG back. But again, I don't think it really has anything to do with the brand. It's more about the graphic.
In this case, it's probably more about the graphic. But to be fair, LRG, especially if you were getting it in the really big sizes, this was like LRG, Echo, Sean John. We won't talk about P. Diddy. And those brands came in really big boy sizes too, so that was a big deal. Yeah. Like you could get like a 5XL That's a 3XL.
Yeah, it's
you
a
could get a
3X.
5XL track jacket, and I used to sell the crap out of them then. So that's part of it too. Keep an eye out for the really big ones. You get a lot of big stylish dudes that want to wear something cool.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to find big and tall sizes.
True. All right, next one for you.
These actually just sold yesterday. I had these for a while. I got these from Robin in Florida, and I bought a bunch of linens and things from her. I paid $4 on average for every item that I purchased from her, so I'm just going to give this a $4 cost. But selling only one panel of curtains is a big feat because very few people are buying something where the room that you're decorating only has one window. So if I had had 2 pairs, I would have made a lot more money. But I had a lot of interest on this on all the platforms, and they were listed for maybe 3 or 4 months, and they sold for $70 plus shipping. Just keep an eye out. These pinch pleat drapes, these vintage drapes, like my mom had these in the house in the 70s and 80s. My mother had the big bay window in the front with a split level raised ranch. Same kind of house that Tracy has. That's the house I grew up in, that same exact style, a split level raised ranch, and the big bay window in the front, or the bow window, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you live regionally. We always had these big pinch pleat draperies that my mother would change out 3 or 4 times a year for every season. I don't know why that was a thing, but totally would change them out for every season. They were different colors, different textures. I don't know. These look like the fall ones, but I'm pretty sure ours were mustard yellow, not avocado green.
Lori says her parents had the same ones, same color. All right. Next up for me, you guys know about me and my hoodies. I can't stop buying hoodies.
At least you're selling them now.
I know. They are selling them. I'm selling sweatshirts and hoodies and jackets. It's great. This sold actually for $35, but it was a Depop sale. I've actually been getting some more Depop sales. Depop is doing a thing. It's not for every offer, but for those of you who've sold on Depop, it's really annoying. You get an offer, you accept it, and it's not actually a sale until they buy it. So it ends up being like maybe 1 out of 10 to 20 offers you actually get the sale.
Etsy does
and
the same thing.
And they're always sending really reasonable offers. And so, but it happens way more often on Depop, and it's just annoying.
Yeah, Etsy, most of them actually buy.
And so recently, I saw they had a thing now where when you go to make an offer as a buyer from the buyer's side, you can choose to input a payment method or whatever and have it be, if it gets accepted, you're charged immediately, or you can do the old way. So like I had a couple of sales where it's like I couldn't tell from my side the difference, but I know I accepted and within like 5 minutes, like I got paid. So I think maybe it's in effect now.
That actually makes sense because if you want to actually submit an offer and you don't want to have to go back and babysit it to see if the seller has replied, that, makes sense.
You want to make sure. Yeah. I mean, it's silly they should all be this way. It's like if it gets accepted,
I haven't put anything new on Depop in 4 or 5 months. I still have my crap up there. I don't even look at it. I don't end things on there anymore. I don't even care. I need to go in and end everything because I started this year and put everything back on Depop and had 3 sales in like 5 months and then said, fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah. So
this
they got it for $35 plus they paid for shipping. So I got the label. So I probably made like $30 on it, but I paid like $2-3 at the bins, and this is just one. It's all it is a it's a
weed brand.
It's a company that does like weed delivery.
Okay.
But it's just a really cool graphic. This green scorpion. You got your cannabis leaf.
Sure.
So yeah.
So I've sold these before, and I've sold ones that look like this before. I always pick these up at the bins, whether they're Florsheim. Usually they're Florsheim, whatever brand they are. I always pick up these Chelsea boots. That's what they're called. The style of the boot. They're kind of like, or beetle boots. They used to be called because in the 70s, in the 60s, it was the type of stuff that the Beatles wore. So the Chelsea boots, I always pick these up. I always sell them on Etsy.
Huh.
I don't know what the deal is, but for whatever reason, I sell them on Etsy, and I always get a good price for them. These sold for what you see there, $70. I paid probably $4 at the bins, $3 to $4 at the bins. They weren't listed very long. I hadn't even put them away yet. That's how they were listed for maybe a week and a half. And they're not even anything spectacular.
Whatever, look at that on the...
they're pretty cool. But what I want to say is, if you look at sell-through prices on vintage Chelsea boots on eBay, the sell-through rate is crap, and the prices they want are crap. Maybe we'd sell them for $30.
Yeah.
if you are a cross poster, there are certain things that sell better and faster on Etsy. And this happens to be one of them for me.
Yep. Very nice. Very nice. All right, next up for me, I had a couple of good sales on Poshmark. Now this sweater, the fact that I don't have the background removed, it means I've had this for quite a while. I'm not even entirely sure where I got this. I either got it at the bins or I got it from probably yesterday's fits, maybe. I don't know. It's just this V-neck sweater from Nellis Air Force Base, this Sunrise Vista Golf Club. And I've had this for a while. I'd say I probably paid like maybe $5 for it, depending on where I got it. But I sold it for 56, and I think I got this just before they switched back to the old fee structure. So my fees were pretty low on it. But I was very happy to be rid of it. My sweaters are in bins and they take up a lot of space, so I'm always happy when I finally get rid of a sweater. Make room for some new ones. But $56, not a bad price to sell.
Yes, Alexis, you should bring me a suitcase full of Chelsea boots if you find them.
There you go. There you go.
I always pick them up and I always sell them. I can't keep them in stock. Okay, this I picked up. Speaking of the Salvation Army bins earlier, there was a time that Katie and I went a few weeks ago and we both got some fantastic pieces. And this is one of the pieces that I picked up there. I was not familiar with the brand, and those of you that are, great. I was not. I'm not familiar with a lot of higher end current fashion. I'm just not. I learn as I go.
But why? So why'd you pick it up?
I picked it up because and design is even spelled wrong in the title. That's great. And I didn't catch it. But I picked it up because it was very nice quality. It was a really nice quality. It felt thick and really well made. And I had a great graphic on it. I figured this was going to be a $25, $30 sweatshirt just because the graphic was cool. But then I looked up the tag, and sometimes there are certain tags by the way they're made that just scream to me that they're a different designer or a niche designer. And I think it's from learning a lot of Anthropologie tags over the years, because Anthropologie has so many different brands under their umbrella. This is not an Anthropologie tag. But in any case, picked this up, had it listed for maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks, and it sold for the price you see there on Poshmark. I paid maybe $2 for it at the Salvation Army bins, and yeah.
Nice.
I had a customer comment on it, or I had someone on Poshmark, not a customer, tell me, this is fake, this is counterfeit. So then I went and did a deep dive and realized this is not even a brand that's counterfeit, because most people have never heard of this brand, and I didn't think it was. And then it sold the next day to someone else. So
people are just jackasses. But let me tell you, the great thing these days that resellers have in their pocket is Google Lens, because you can very quickly, if you're just kind of curious, or you see an interesting graphic, and maybe you don't want to just take the chance on it. It's real quick to just do, if Vikki had, if you just do a Google Lens search on your phone.
Which is how I figured out what it was.
You'll know right away, like, oh, this is worth a lot. Like this last week, I listed a T-shirt. Hopefully it'll sell soon, and then I can show it to you guys. But it was a T-shirt I picked up at the bins that wasn't vintage. There was nothing to tell me that it was worth money. It just had a cool graphic, and so I really just thought, oh, I'll sell it for $20-$25. And when I list it, I always do, if it's something I don't know, I always do a Google Lens search real quick, because it takes like 2 seconds. And I realized it was like a $200 T-shirt. And it's like I never in a million years would have thought that. But I always do it doesn't take hardly any time at all. So it's always worth just like doing a quick check.
I agree, Susie. That was one of the great tips that I figured out. You can do that on eBay. You can do that inside List Perfectly. Lots of different ways.
You do any website.
Any website. You can right click and Google Lens search.
Yep. It's so fast.
It makes life so much easier than trying to use Google Lens, taking a photo of something and then and then trying to, make the Google Lens work on your phone. It's like a multi-step process as opposed to
Liz is all about
that right click is awesome.
Hey, I have Google Lens though on my phone. It's like there's a shortcut right on the top of my phone on the Google phone. Here, I'll show you guys real quick.
Mine does not do that.
Well, because you don't have for whatever reason, you don't have the Google search bar there. But if you look on my Google search bar, all the way there to the right is the little Google Lens symbol. And all I have to do is hit that, and I can search with using my camera or a picture I already took. But yeah, I mean, it's so fast. It's like it's like a shortcut to comping, just to even get an idea. Because usually the first things that pop up are sales sites and different platforms. So, all right.
Anyway, so keep an eye out for that brand, Anine Bing.
Yep.
If you find it.
And also just pay attention to construction, because like that same trip, I picked up a sweatshirt that just based on the construction of it, I looked it up and it's possibly $1,000 sweatshirt. So depending on if I can sell it for that much. All right, Liz, I bet you recognize this. And yes, this is the second time I've sold it.
Did it come back?
It did not come back. I sold it and they canceled, I believe is what happened. I did not. Or did I send it out? I don't know. I didn't send it out. It got canceled. But anyway, I had picked this up in Colorado. I paid $25 for it. It's a vintage military jacket. It's pretty cool. It's got like the really cool fur hood thing. They call it the ruff, I think is what they call it. And let me tell you, photographing all of this took a while because I actually had to look up a video on YouTube to figure out how to reconnect the fur, because there's like 500 buttons inside these hoods. So anyway, this time I'm like...
I would not have reconnected it. I would have taken the photo and then taken it off and then just shoved it in the arm to ship it together.
Nah, I didn't want to do that because it's got the wire in it. So it was better to be like connected to the jacket. Anyway... Sold it for $115. I'll get the shipping label, and I'm hoping it's not over 5 pounds. I don't know, but if it is, I have to like upgrade my label. But I think I get to keep like $92 or something like that. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to get rid of it. Maybe I could sell it for more in another month, but whatever.
It's also huge and heavy.
Yeah, it is. It's taking up space, man. Anyway, that's it. Those are the sales highlights. Them's the sales highlights. As far as goals from last week, I mean, I had said last week that I don't really have any real goals going through Q4 because we don't really have time for goals beyond just getting our regular listings done. So that's kind of, I guess, my only goal is just trying to hang on and get 10 listings a day, which I don't even know if I'm going to be able to accomplish that this week. I would like to, but I don't know that that's actually going to happen. And so I'm going to cut myself some slack.
You just have to go a little bit faster. You tend to take your time when you're
I do take my time because it's like I can.
But when you can't,
yes, I do need to speed up, push through. So, and I mostly just have T-shirts to list. So those I can do a little bit faster. So I'm going to see if I can keep it going. And that's pretty much all. That's the only thing I have. I don't even have the goal of putting my stuff away because I know I won't have time to do that. How about you?
Well, let's see. I already have 3 Zoom calls this week with Remake sponsors. The first one is at 8 a.m. So I'm trying to get them scheduled in the early part of the day so that it doesn't conflict with our visitors and things that we may want to do. So I have 3 Zoom calls this week that I have to do. And I did not make my listing goals this week, I will say. I did list 10 a day every day. So I did get 70 plus listed this week. And I did do some old listings and got those relisted and, changed around and prices changed. So I would say I probably got 80 to 85 up this week. Now, again, I did get everything put away this week, which was big. But I didn't get... my sales did not reflect that this week, I have to say. This is the slowest start to a Q4 I can remember of any given time on any platform. Or on every platform. But again, we are in election season and, elections in another, 10 days. And 9 days, I think.
I don't know.
Historically speaking, for those of us that have been selling for a while, that have been through a few of these election cycles, election year, the second half of the year is always very slow, regardless of what's happening in politics. And it will be slow until the election is certified, and then we should see an uptick in spending, again, regardless of what party gets into office. There's always an uptick post-election. So I think we're just going to have a slow start to Q4, And I am with you, Susie. At this point, just please, can it be over? Like,
yeah,
let's not. I don't even want to get into anything. Please don't turn this into a political discussion. But I think I can't imagine that everybody is just not exhausted by it right now.
Yeah, we're sick of it. Jen is going to the eBay meetup this week in Minneapolis, and maybe the bins too. Maybe I said go to the bins.
I saw that. I saw
man.
that you were going to the meetup at the bins that our friends Joe and Nicole are doing. In it to flip it, they have a meetup that they do occasionally. So we're gonna try to pull together a meetup when Ryan and Allie are here. We'll probably just do one here at home. Like we did last time. It makes everybody more comfortable, and it's just a better setting for people to hang out and relax and chit chat and not feel like you're rushed or you're at a table somewhere at a restaurant and then you can only talk to the people that are next to you. It just, anyway, we'll do that. I'm going to poll them on it and see what they want to do, whether it's here or maybe we'll do a bowling meetup with them too. That would be our third bowling meetup this year, but you know what? People like them. We're having a lot of fun when we do them. Come on out, Liz. Come out and crash.
Yeah.
Crash the visit.
Come on.
I've got your
loser.
I've got your air mattress ready.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the plan, and I'm gonna try to get my plan this week is to get 10 new listings up every day as well while our visitors are here, and hopefully we'll get some sales coming in. Yeah, like I said, I'm grateful to have had these 2 consignment sales and a couple more coming in. She gave me 8 items for consignment, and
I think you sold the 2 best things.
I sold the 2 best things right away, and that also is encouraging for her, as a consignment.
Yeah, it makes you look real good.
It makes me look real good.
Like you know what
I
you're doing.
nailed that pricing and knew what I was doing. She just gave me great things. But I'm excited to maybe take on more consignment. That partly because anything that I could do to boost the sales coming in, really. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I'm already tired just thinking about these next couple of weeks.
I know, and we have to make a list of fun things to do, which we have not done yet. So that's
I put down a few things.
Where
what do you mean where? I keep my list. You always ask. We go to the grocery store, and she's like, "Did you bring the list?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Where is it? And I'm like, "It's in my freaking pocket."
I'm sorry. I need actual paper.
No, I put it. I use my Google Notes.
I need paper.
No. It's way better that you don't have to keep track of anything. Anyway, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead.
I will say, before you wrap it up, I was going to say, I got a text message from Dana while we were in the middle of this, and she said, I know you just started the show. Looks like we're heading to Pink Box Donuts right now. Wanted to see if you guys want anything for when you come over later. I was like, yes. So, of course, I had to respond at one point when Katie was showing something. I said, yes, a jelly-filled or vanilla cream-filled for me, please. Katie will probably pass. And she said, too late, you get what you get. So I'll have you know that I missed my window to specifically
You'll be all right.
A specific donut from the Pink Box.
You'll be all right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. We appreciate you, and we will see you next week. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your week. Happy Halloween. Make sure to set your Halloween goals.
Do you see Alexis? Alexis calling me grandma. Okay, grandma.
You are grandma. You are grandma.
I want a jelly-filled donut. And
jelly-filled donut is way better than what you usually get, which is the cake ones, and they're disgusting. As Ryan says, it's like you're eating dust.
I made Ryan eat an old-fashioned donut. Those of you from the East Coast,
he took one bite and he was done.
We were into a Dunkin' Donuts, and I got an old-fashioned donut, and I made him taste it, and he's like, "What is this garbage?" He's like, "It's like the desert in my mouth."
Yep, pretty much. All right. Okay, guys, we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.